Ladies and gentlemen, I, as the member of the government, will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Today's motion is that this House would impoverish the corruptors. Now, impoverish does not mean to take all of their money away. It's only to take the money that they owed to the government. The money that they stole from the people, that needs to be taken back to the government and with some fines. Because of that, we does not mean to take everything that they have and leave them with nothing to support their families. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why, for us, we strongly agree with the motion to impoverish the corruptors. Now, before I get into my argument, I would like to have several rebuttals to the opposition team. Now, my first rebuttal is that, like I said, impoverish does not mean taking everything that they have. We does not want their children to not be able to go to school. We only want to pay back things that they stole and also several fines. That is all. My second rebuttal is that how can we not calculate the amount of money that they stole? Every division of the state have budget plan that clearly stated how much budget a division will get and how much budget will be given to the people. If this budget is lost, if this budget is missing, then someone has taken it. And we can calculate the amount of the money that the corruptor takes by calculating it through that budget plan. With this, we can have an accurate calculation how much do they stole from the government. That we cannot calculate it is simply wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for us to rehabilitate these people will be a burden to the state because rehabilitation is for those who are sick, those who are addicted, those who are having trauma, those who are sick. Those people needs rehabilitation, not someone who are just being a human being. We all have our greedy nature that exists in every human, but they have more of it than all of us because they are politicians who only cares about money, wealth, and power. They become who they are. They exist where they are because they only care about money and power. That is why they are so greedy, and there is no rehabilitation for that, ladies and gentlemen. The solution is to give a deterrent that will make them afraid to do the crimes of corruption, ladies and gentlemen. So, with that, I would like to get into my first argument, which is that the purpose of this punishment, the purpose of taking their money, impoverishing them, is first for them to be afraid and for it to be a deterrent, a very good deterrent. Because now, with the punishment that we have now, with jails, they can just wait their time and get out of jail and still be rich because they can hide their money from the government. They can also pay bribes to have a better cell, to have a better accommodation in jail. So jail is not effective. Taking their money away will be effective, ladies and gentlemen. Now, also, the purpose of this punishment is to compensate the nation and the people because that money belongs to the people. That money is supposed to be given to the people. And when they take that away, we need to give that back to those who are perhaps who are needing them, who needs that money, who are struggling in life and need the help of the government. So it is necessary for us to take those money from those corruptors. Now, a strong economical punishment, like I said, will prevent this, and with that, these two problems is solved with one punishment, which is to impoverish these corruptors. We have a good deterrent, and also we can compensate the people who are lost. Then, my second argument, which is that we look at things through the psychological levels. Psychological levels, we can see that these people are afraid to lose their money. Athletes afraid to get injured. Actors are afraid to lose their pretty face. But greedy people are afraid to lose everything that they have, their wealth and power, because that's all they care about. And when we threaten them with taking away everything that they care, then we are threatening their weaknesses. and it will work because then they will be afraid to do the crimes of corruption. Because of that, this punishment absolutely works. This punishment is the best way to prevent and deter corruption, not to rehabilitate them after they did the corruption. Because after that, they can just hide their money ways, and after rehabilitation, they can enjoy the money that they stole from the people. That is not the answer, ladies and gentlemen. And also, with that punishment, they can also try to redeem themselves on their people. Psychologically, they can still be accepted by the people. The people can see that they have done everything that should have been done after you committed a crime. They have been punished and they have given back the money that they stole. So they could go back to the society and be accepted and be forgiven by the people. That is why we think taking their money away, impoverishing them, is the best solution for them psychologically as well. Now, this is the reason why it's the best solution we have. First, it relieves the government from any burden. There is no more paying for jail and rehabilitation, like the opposition team said, for these criminals. Because why would we want to pay for a criminals to rehabilitate? They need to be punished. They need to be punished for their crimes. And absolutely, because their crime is done because they are greedy, not because they are sick, but because they are a greedy human being. So there's no point on rehabilitating them. It's only adding to the burden of the government. Also, it's becoming a good way to make them afraid, fearful of doing this crime. That is why also we want to support this punishment to those criminals, those corruptors. With that, we strongly and proudly propose this motion. That is all from me. Thank you.
I'll start my speech in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, the bench who won this debate is the one who can explain to the panelists that which is the best solution of these corruptors or corruption, ladies and gentlemen. And we believe, as a government team, we already say to you the best and realistic, the most realistic solution of this problem. Ladies and gentlemen, notice that in the status quo, corruptors, if we talk about corruptors, of course we talk about the corruption culture. And this corruption culture is keep over and over again happen. And we believe, how can we give a solution that can abolish this kind of culture in one state of the country, ladies and gentlemen. And then we believe, we as the government team already give the best solution, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because the solution of us is to impoverish these corruptors is realistic, because we believe corruptors' temptation to wealth, and they're afraid to get poor in the psychological side, ladies and gentlemen. The greediness is the natural traits of human. And then to impoverish them, it will make them weaken, and they cannot have the connection like before, and they cannot have the wealth to provide, and they cannot do such things, sort of action like corruption at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So we believe the government team should win this debate at the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, the opening debate, the opening government already said to you about the impoverished and etc. But we as the closing government give more explanation about how impoverished can give an effect, deterrent effect, and we believe we explain to the psychological side for the corruptors itself, ladies and gentlemen. And then we believe that the corruption, imagine, ladies and gentlemen, the state already have funding for maybe healthcare, welfare, etc., ladies and gentlemen. But this one particular people, corrupting this funding, and it's for the majority of people, ladies and gentlemen. How can it be, can give a deterrent effect if you give a rehabilitation like the solution from the opposition team? It cannot stand, ladies and gentlemen. And the only one solution that we believe to give a long term and deterrent effect to these corruptors is to impoverish them, to make them lose their power. At the end of the day, they will lose their connection, they will lose, and it not only effect on them, it will also affect the society, where society will look up at this issue, and the society at the end of the day will give a butterfly effect, and the society will look and see this kind of issue, and they're afraid. A lot of people are afraid. There are no more corruptors in this world, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, in the opening debate already talked about the consequences of an action when they caught, ladies and gentlemen. The Prime Minister, until the closing government, already said, we impoverish here doesn't mean we take all the wealth of the corruptor, ladies and gentlemen. We doesn't take all the wealth. So the opposition team say how they gonna fulfill their basic needs, ladies and gentlemen. So we believe the opposition team doesn't understand at all about our mechanism in this debate, ladies and gentlemen. So they don't understand. They just say they just pay back and the money they stole and fine, which already set up, and we already set up the fine and then the amount, and they must pay back. These corruptors must pay the money they stole, the amount of money they stole, and we believe we already said we're not taking all the money from the corruptors so they can fulfill their basic needs. At the end of the day, they still have the wealth, they still have the money to fulfill their basic need, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe in their perspective as ex-corruptors, where they live in a fancy life, and then maybe they see this in their perspective, it's not enough. But we believe it's already enough to give a deterrent effect at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, why we as a government team underline the deterrent effect, ladies and gentlemen? We believe to have a rehabilitation is not enough to get a deterrent effect, because at the end of the day, like my previous speaker said before, the rehabilitation, they can have a time to set up a plan or set up to lose their track of money at the end of the day. We believe to abolish and to impoverish them at the end of the day is the right and effective way to, like I said before, to make them lose their connection, to make them lose their wealth, because they don't have any power at all. Because we believe the corruptors who make corruption, of course, it is a wealthy people who have a power, ladies and gentlemen. So we impoverish them to make it's not possible for them after they get punishment, they cannot have the power like before, ladies and gentlemen. So the deterrent effect also there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, see, the opposition team, they attack their own argument. Why we say this, ladies and gentlemen? The government team already set up the amount of money, which is 150%. How they say the criminal system is unjust, while it is already said amount of money that the corruptor must pay. At the end of the day, the purpose of the government, of course, the government want the best for the society, and then why the opposition team state this, ladies and gentlemen? Then how much we should pay when we already set up the value of this law, ladies and gentlemen? This cannot stand. And then, if we talk about rehabilitation and etc., we believe to impoverish action is really needed than the rehabilitation like the opposition team's solution. Because the rehabilitation, it's bring burden to the nation, ladies and gentlemen. Why we say this? The nation must prepare some funding to make this facilitate building, and then and then in fact the jail and the room for the corruptors, in fact it is quite fancy and have a good facilitation, and then how it could be bring this deterrent effect that we want at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It cannot stand this kind of rehabilitation. In fact, like I said before, the jail and the room for the corruptors is like fancy, and then how could you say it is a good solution when it's not give a deterrent effect, ladies and gentlemen? And then we believe the team and the bench who would win this debate is the one who can give, like I said before, the realistic solution, and then to give a best deterrent effect to the corruptors, and the corruption won't happen again at the end of the day in the future, ladies and gentlemen. So we, as the government team, should win this debate, and we, the closing government, already extends to you, and then I close my case. Thank you so much.